Hi folks, back with ancient cosmology. See how long my phone goes for before it stops recording. So this is a possible configuration of the Nalarwi land avatar, crocodile avatar, crocodile dreaming. So, because I know that it's to do with this river, seem to be indicated as this river, which I guess is the Nalarwi River. I don't know. It's like not labeled on Google Earth. Honestly, there's no label for like this entire region on Google Earth. Like you can go out a ways and there's no labels. But there are thousands of ancient labels, so I think it goes without saying that ancient geography is much more thorough than modern geography. So yeah, the tail is like the mouth of the river, which is over this way. But I'm thinking, like these type of avatars, often, the ones I'm familiar with, they're often depicted in different positions than they're actually in. And so that seems to be part of the esotericism of it. So in this case, if this is his face, so I'm thinking that maybe like the contours of the river delineate his face, because that's the main shape like that I see in this region is right here. Of course, not exact, but it's very similar, relatively similar for a geographic shape. And so, yeah, I'm thinking this is the head, this is the nose, these are the two eyes areas. This is one of the hands. And I'm actually thinking that it could be that he's flipped, the front part of his body is like, turned up. So it's kind of folded back so that this is the underside. This is, his kind of underbelly and underneath his head, underneath his neck or something. Because that would explain why this arm is kind of turned in that way instead of being, going around this way. It's going around that way. And there seems to be, I don't know how visible it is with this video, but there's another shape here. Like this river goes like this, and then in, and then along, and then there's like a similar shape that's kind of similar to this one over here. So I'm thinking that could actually be the other arm, like this arm. And then this is like the bottom of his neck. So he's like turned back. His two arms are in the air. And then this would be his phallus. And then, so that could explain also why this is like an avatar that they say is like suitable for children. And that children are given to memorize the shape of the land. But maybe that's why it's relatively simple and it doesn't include his dick, because maybe, I mean, who knows if they have the same taboos about anatomy there with the children and everything, but that could be the reason. So yeah, that's what I suspect, that this is the head, the two arms, the penis, which is not really depicted here unless it's that thing, but I don't know. Then the tail goes back here. So yeah, it's called Nalarwi, or I don't know exactly how to pronounce that type of an N. I guess it must be different. From Crocodile Dreaming Totem Map of Gumach Yolngu people. I think Gumach is the clan and Yolngu is like the nation. So yeah, I was thinking that this part was the other arm. And who knows, maybe that could be another iteration, but now I'm leaning towards this configuration. Hard to know. This is just, the Lascaux Caves famous scene animal that is, the Philippines, Sulawesi, and Taiwan. So I was calling it a chimera because it seems like it's a mix of like a snake head and like I don't know what kind of legs these are, like big feet. I don't know what kind of animal has these type of feet. I don't know. I mean, it could be a dinosaur, because the ancients had all that same access to dinosaur bones that we have, so they knew like what dinosaurs kind of looked like as much as we do. Or it could have been some other weird critter in that area. I was thinking it might be and it still could be, well, I don't know. I was thinking it might be an anteater, that basically this is its anteater head and it's like eating these ants. But it's hard to know. Like, this doesn't look exactly like an anteater. I don't think anteaters have these exact type of feet, but I don't know. Open-ended question, what the heck it is. But it does seem like you can see a lot of the details, like, not only it shows like the solid part here, Mindanao, and then the more broken up part in the middle of the Philippines. And it shows the break between Mindanao and Sulawesi somewhat. But I was noticing it also shows that like Taiwan is the back foot, but it also seems to show a lot of details of Luzon, like that this part of Luzon that sticks out seems to be this part right here, and then this tip right here seems to be this tip right here, and then it kind of bulges out this way a little bit, goes in, goes along, it goes in after that. So yeah, there's definitely a huge overlap of those shapes. And yeah, a lot of these things match up. I'm guessing this is that Samar Island. Yeah. I dated a girl from there. That was like arguably my most serious relationship. She was from Davao. Met in Northern Ireland. So yeah, same thing. Oh yeah, another thing I was noticing is that this seems to actually potentially show the mainland, like, because this is like mainland Asia over here. So this this color here could represent the mainland that Taiwan is next to. And still not totally sure about this. Seems like it's supposed to be grass or something, but it could also be some kind of writing system, or I don't know. Guessing it's like grass, but representing some geography. So yeah, and then if indeed I'm correct about him being like his head being upside down, basically, that this is the bottom of his head and the bottom of his chest, then, or its chest, then I can't honestly remember if it's gendered animal or not. But then it would make even more sense that the eyes would be called the tongues of flame, because then it would be that, like, basically they are really shooting out flames on both sides, not just this side, but also this, from this side is shooting that flame. So that fits better. And, you know, I don't know exactly what that type of land is, but it's some type of reddish earth. I mean, I just increased saturation to make it more red, because otherwise it's just kind of more reddish than the rest of the land. People writing on my posters, hating on me. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I think of that. I mean, it's like hard to be totally sure, but you know, all we know is that the people who lived there, they painted that and they said it's that river, but they said they couldn't give specifics because that's against their customs to like show the exact dimensions. But you know, it might be kind of like a riddle, like they show enough to where somebody could figure it out somehow if they're so inclined. Let's see, what am I trying to do here? So yeah, I'm going to try to read a little more of this. It's funny though, it says, by looking at the detailed western map of Caledon Bay, it's a western map, so it's detailed. This is not a detailed map. It has 2 labels and like 5 lines on it, and that's it. This is a much more detailed map, even if it's more esoteric. By looking at the detailed map, detailed western map of Caledon Bay, item 5.3, you can identify the section of river that is being referred to here. The land, which is owned by the Guamach clan, extends in all directions from this river. Its boundaries are not shown here, for to do so would be a breach of good custom. So yeah, that's why they didn't do the whole comparison like I did. This Dulan maps the homeland of the Guamach clan. The names of the parts of the crocodile are the names of areas of land. There are names for general areas like Gupa, Gumac, and Judi Gumaj, which name separate sections of the clan. Also, there are very specific names like Jarkunkun, which names a small and restricted area. So I guess that's the eyes, Jarkunkun. The fiery eyes, the tongues of flame. And the Dulons, so these maps are called Dulons, or however you pronounce that. The Dulon represents a specific place where the crocodile, an ancestral being, lives, and the graphic elements are organized on spatial principles, that is, they are intended to correspond to elements of the landscape. Hence it is a map. However, it is obviously a highly conventional map. In order to read it, you have to know something of the stories, songs, and dances of the creation of this landscape by this ancestral being and his kin. So you have to know basically how he died. I think that's usually the thing. Once you really figure out how the god died or how the figure or character died, then you know how they currently sit or lay. In the background pattern or midchi is the fire dreaming, a design owned specifically by the Gumaj. The irregularities of the diamond design indicate flickering flames going in all directions. Here, fire is a metaphor for knowledge, but it seems like it may also relate to the red topography. Fire always has the same elements: flames, the red diamonds, ashes, yellow diamonds, sparks, white dots, charcoal, black lines, flaming coals, white with the red lines, dust, white lines on yellow. But in any particular fire, these elements combine and manifest in different ways. So it is with knowledge. The general elements and their relations are always there, but the way knowledge is revealed anew to each generation is particular for that generation and that time. Kolumbu Yunupinu, 1987. Each part of the crocodile has a name, and the outside names, those that can be generally known, are shown in item 5.2. So, a lot of this stuff is very secret, so they're only showing us what can be shown legally or, conventionally to outsiders. Shown in item 5.2, the pattern we see on the back of this crocodile, and indeed all crocodiles, represents the murky water, which is its waina. That's its area or something. Dulan, like this one, are for teaching children. They learn from the bark and from the land itself. Children can learn the shape of the land from the bark and from being instructed about what is written there. So these are written on bark. So that shows that even children could understand these things that are beyond a lot of modern academics to understand, like, and a lot of, modern intellectuals that attack my work. But, I'm sure they had a lot of help to understand it, but it does show that they could understand it as children. Children can learn the shape of the land from the bark and from being instructed about what is written there. From being instructed, they can get a map in their heads. Children can learn to have respect for the waina in this way and the way-in game animals that live there, and learn to mind it properly. If they don't do that, it will take its revenge.